All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy Hicks, and I am the Assistant Director of Recruitment and Admissions. And I want to welcome you today to our BIOS information session. And we're really excited to be here. And so I'm going to turn it over to Melissa Scherer. But before we do that, if you notice, there is a question box below. If you think of any questions during the presentation, please feel free to start typing them. And then at the end, we'll open up for questions and answers, and we'll answer them in the order in which they were received. All right, I'm going to turn it on over.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm so glad you were able to join us today, and I hope that this information session will be something that will help in making your decision much easier to come to Emory. We all would love to see you here. And so just brief introductions. Again, I'm Melissa Scherer, and I am the Associate Director of Academic Programs. So basically, I'm the advisor to the students. So any issues that you have, anything to do with admissions, anything to do with your classes, your curriculum, even personal issues to anything like that, I'm here to help you in any way possible. And so we also have Dr. Howard Chang, and he is one of our professors here within the department. And then we have a current student, our second year MPH student, Alexia, and they're going to help me today with answering some of your questions and contributing to how their experiences are and some research stuff. So would y'all like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Glad you could be here.
Hello, this is Alexia.
Okay. So for the next, the next information is about just Atlanta in general. Of course, Atlanta is a metropolis, and so it's a very large city, but the advantage is Emory is inside in a smaller town called Decatur, and so you kind of have the smaller town feel, but you're also in a large city, and the midtown and downtown are about 10, 15 minutes away, and so there's lots and lots of things to do here, from ranging from, the civil rights movement started here in Atlanta. And so we have several museums now dealing with the civil rights movement, such as, the Martin Luther King Memorial. And then we also have several Fortune 500 companies. Some of our students have gone to work at these companies. And then, I'm sure that several of you have been looking at other schools. And so the cost of living in Atlanta is much more affordable than some other bigger metropolises like Boston and Baltimore, D.C., those areas. The best thing, probably one of the best things I'm sure that all of our students say about Atlanta is that you get to enjoy all of the seasons. We could have snow. We might not have snow. We don't know. It depends on that winter. But you definitely get to see the change of the seasons and going from, all four seasons. So that's always a nice thing. And then, of course, since we're a very large city, we have many, many, many attractions that you can go to, and such as, the CNN Center is here, the World of Coke. We have the largest aquarium. So just the next slide kind of shows you different pictures of different things that you can do here. We have amusement parks and national parks such as Stone Mountain, those type of things. So there's never a dull moment in Atlanta. Whatever your interest is, whatever your hobby is, we definitely have a group in Atlanta doing it, and probably definitely a group here at Emory doing it. So never know that you will not get bored in any sense. So the next slide is basically just an overview of the Emory campus, and this is kind of what I was talking about, and the fact that you can see it's definitely in its own little area, and we have nice greenery around us, but you can see in the distance that you can see Midtown and downtown. So they're very easy to get to, from the campus. We also have transportation that we provide on campus that goes outside of campus that's provided by Emory to surrounding areas. And that also includes, we have an Emory Midtown Hospital, so it'll take you all the way down to Midtown, as well as downtown. It will take you down to the Grady Hospital, which is in downtown Atlanta. So we do have transportation that will provide that. We also have MARTA, which is our Atlanta transportation service that can get you to like the airport and all different types of things. So we definitely have ways of getting around without having a car if you're here, within the big city. So does anybody else have any things they would like to add about Atlanta?
Well, we are the public health capital of the
Yeah,
world, so we like to toot that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Anything about like Atlanta and activities?
Well, just in general, for Emory at least, what I really like is that the School of Public Health is actually on campus with the undergraduate, campus. So unlike some other school where the School of Public Health is associated with a medical school, so you're in a different part of town. So here at Emory, you can actually, you do have access to all the amenities that a school provides, so things like the farmers market, and access to the museum and arts and plays, that Emory put together. So that I thought that's a great advantage that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And also to touch on the transportation, I live right off of a station on MARTA, and it's super easy whenever I go to the airport. It's so easy to take, and also I can get to school from the MARTA because there's a shuttle, a bus that Emory provides that goes from a MARTA stop in Decatur directly to here. So transportation has been really easy for me because of that.
Yeah, wonderful.
And for those of you who may not like the big city, touching on what Melissa said earlier, there are several areas. So you have Atlanta itself is surrounded by several towns and little areas such as like North Druid Hills, Decatur. So in any area you can find something from living in the city, or if you like the suburbs a lot better, there's a lot of different areas surrounding Emory itself. And so you can be able to run through a park, or, go out and be able to go to live events where there's a lot of recreation, or if you are more of a downtown cement type of person, you can definitely have that too. So we really like how eclectic and different and the different varieties that Atlanta has to offer with housing as well.
Yeah, thank you. So as you can see, the next slide here is just kind of a brief overview of the academics that we have here at the Rollins School of Public Health. We have 6 departments, and in your curriculum, which we'll move on to in just a minute, you'll see that what we call our public health core courses, you have to take a course in each one of these departments in order for you to have a well-rounded education in public health. And then we have 24 centers, so basically anything that you're interested in, we probably have some type of center in it and provide, research and that type of things within those centers. And then we have 22 degree programs here within our master's degree programs. And then we have quite a few different certificate programs. In a certificate program, except for our own, which is the informatics program, the rest of them coincide with your MPH or your MSPH degree. So you can take one of the certificate programs along with your degree. The difference with ours in informatics, it is 20 credit hours, so those students are basically already in the work field and they just want to get some more education and applied programming within that. So we offer that certificate program for those students who want to learn more about the informatics degree. So the next slide is our student body here at the Rollins School of Public Health. As you can see, we have a variety of all different types and a wide diversity within our school. We have students from 46 states and 40 countries, and we also provide an online program, which is our executive MPH program, and then we also have doctoral students in every department. As you can see, we have about 15% of our student body is internationals, but 70 plus languages are spoken. And due to the fact that we are a grad school, of course, so our average age is around 27. We have several students who got their undergrad, went on to work for a few years, and then decided to come back to school. That's my own personal experience. I had done undergrad and then went out to the workforce and then came back to school. So we have a lot of students that do that. Probably one of the best advantages here is that we have a large alumni, and especially within the Biostatistics and Bioinformatics department, I keep in touch with our alumni a lot, and they send me a lot of job postings and all that stuff. So our students are very, I send out several emails about job prospects and all that to the students. So they get to, see a wide variety of different jobs being offered. Plus, we have about 3,000 alumni that are just here within the state. So that's always an advantage. The next slide is about our faculty. So we have a wide diversity of faculty. We have about 200 full-time faculty, and we have 125 jointly appointed faculty. And jointly appointed means that their primary position is in like maybe the School of Medicine, and then their secondary position is in the Rollins School of Public Health. And so those faculty help with like thesis and research, maybe dissertation research, as well as teaching. And then also we have 350 adjunct faculty, and as you can see, over 200 of that are from the CDC. And an adjunct faculty member is someone who their full-time position is outside of Emory. And so then they're doing, again, helping with research or maybe teaching a class, but their full-time position is not within Emory. And then also we have quite a bit of funding. As of right now, we have $93 million in funded research. And so that gives opportunities for our students to, be research assistants and get potential jobs in research in all different types of areas. Okay, so the next slide is just a basic, just explaining our different degree programs that we offer here. And so we have the MPH in Biostatistics, we have the MSPH in Biostatistics, we have the MSPH in Public Health Informatics, and then of course we have the PhD in Biostatistics. So one of the things that we were extremely proud about and has been true for us definitely is most of our students, by the time they graduate, they have a job. And so in 2016, Fortune magazine named biostatistics the #1 master's degree for getting a job. And so it's been, it's always been that our job students that leave here definitely have a good job. They usually have a situation where they're debating on maybe 2 or 3 different jobs that they've interviewed for and making the decision of, where are they going to go. So it's definitely an excellent field to get into. There's definitely more supply than there is. There's definitely more demand than there is supply. The next slide is basically our, the next 3 slides are what we call our curriculum sheets. So hopefully you decide to attend at Rollins. And so depending upon the degree that you have applied for, you would meet with me and we would go over your curriculum sheet when we have advisement. And as you can see, just from this first one, which is the MPH in Biostatistics, for the bio students, everything is in sequence. So what you see on this sheet is how you have to take the courses. There isn't an option of taking them at any different time. Everything that you learn in your fall semester carries on into your spring semester, which carries on into your second year fall semester. So that's why you have to take these classes exactly as they are listed. So for the MPH degree, it's 42 credit hours, and this degree is, as you can see, it will take Bios 510, which is the introduction to probability theory. And so you'll see the next slide for the MSPH students, they would take 512, which is probability theory 1, so it's a more advanced probability course. And then you'll see in your second year fall semester, if from the MPH and the MSPH students will take Bios 526, which is modern regression analysis, and the MPH students do not. You'll also see with this particular degree program, it's 2 elective hours. And so, but most of our students, because of you only pay one price for tuition, like there's just tuition per semester, not per credit hour. Many of our students are graduating with, like an MPH student's graduating with like 48 or 50 credit hours, but they haven't had to pay anything extra to take those extra courses. The other thing that I want to highlight is due to the fact that you're on the Emory campus, you're able to enroll in other courses across campus. Anything that's a 300 level or above would count as a elective hour. And so, you have a wide variety of different things. I always use this as an example. We had a PhD student who was bound and determined to take scuba diving. And so she, in her last semester here, she tried it. It's a very small class. And so she, for her last semester in, she finally got to take scuba diving, which of course she was thrilled about. So, you can always, if this is a great advantage for you to take classes that you're like, maybe I might be interested in learning another language. And so you have the advantage here of doing that, basically for the same price that there's no extra price for it. But Alexia is in the MPH program, and so I'm going to let her talk about the program.
Sure. Like Melissa said, there is the kind of like one price to take as many courses. So I am one of those people. I'm graduating, I think, with over 50 credits because I took a lot of electives in the BIOS department and in other public health departments. And it is definitely doable. Whichever semester I was in, I always would talk to either like the second years or other students. And it's always like, this is the most difficult semester. So there was never one that kind of shined out as being the biggest, the heaviest, but I would say I added on classes spring and mostly in the fall semester of my second year. So I added a lot of elective classes to take. I also had the opportunity to add on the required class for the MSPH, the modern regression, in the fall semester of the second year, which was taught by this wonderful Professor Howard Jane with us, and it was great that I got to do that while still just pursuing the MPH, and the classes were great. Every teacher I have had has been wonderful. I've learned something. None of the classes felt like they were a waste of time or wasn't getting something out of it. I feel for a while I didn't know if just having 2 years would prepare me for a career, but I definitely feel very strong in all the skills I've learned through the MPH program.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the next slide, we'll kind of run through these quickly. So the next slide, as you can see, is our MSPH and Biostatistics curriculum sheet. And as I stated, there are several differences in the two programs. And of course, the MSPH, you have to take 48 credit hours. So there is a difference between the tuition and an MPH and an MSPH because you are taking, it's a 6 credit hour difference. And then of course for the MSPH, it has the more advanced probability course, which is the 512. And then of course, as you see in your second year, fall semester, the class that we were just talking about, the BIOS 526 is the modern regression analysis. And so that class is required for the MSPH students. For this degree, you'll see at the bottom there that this one is 5 credit hours for electives. Again, those could be in anything that you would like. Of course, within the department, we offer several electives every single semester. And so we see that a lot of our own students want to take those electives. And, of course, we have students outside our department that want to take the courses as well. Probably one of our definite, like almost every single master student that we have takes our R programming class. And we have a specific R programming class just for biostatistics and informatics students. So we offer another R class for non-bios students. So the R class that we offer is a more advanced R class than the non-bios class. So that class is offered in the spring of your first year. And then we do recommend that you take it then so that you have the R experience for getting a practicum and then to move on to your thesis. So we'll move on to the next slide. And that is the MSPH program in Public Health Informatics. And as you can see, this, of course, is our completely other degree program. We have Biostatistics and Informatics. So the Informatics curriculum sheet is quite different than the Biostatistics because it's a completely different degree. So depending upon your experience and what you've other classes that you've had, you'll see the first fall semester you could choose between BIOS 500 or BIOS 506. And so we would have a discussion prior to enrolling you in classes to where your experience lies to what class that would be. And then, so what we kind of describe this program is, it's kind of half conceptual concepts. So that would be your Informatics 500, your Info 500, your Info 501, your Info 503, and your Info 540 are all conceptual, more knowledge classes. And the other classes, which consist of Informatics 532, the Info 511, the Info 521, and then the Info 550, are all applied courses. So that's where you're actually going to be learning different programming skills. The 532 is GIS, which is Geographical Information Systems, or we call that mapping. Extremely popular class here at the Rollins School of Public Health. We offer the, so the Info 530 is a 4 credit hour class, so it's, the entire semester. We do offer Info 530, which is half semester course, and that's where the other students in the other departments take that course, and we offer that twice a semester for each semester. And so, and the analytics course, you're learning R, Tableau, some Excel in that class, and then in the 521, that is actually creating a database from scratch. So it's mainly done in Access. And then the 550 is a lot more R. You're also learning SQL. You're learning Python. So all of those will be essential in this degree. The programming skills are essential to being an informatician. As well as a biostatistician, but it's far more important in an informatician position. You're expected to know various programming skills. Okay, so the next slide is about just our current students that we have within the school right now and within our department. And so we have 72 master students with 50 MSPH in Biostatistics, 18 MPH in Biostatistics, and then 4 in the MSPH in Public Health Informatics. We hope to increase that with the informatics program. We have a lot of students interested in informatics, but not degree seeking, so we're trying as hard as we can to get that more, a lot more students in that program. From our applications from last year of 2017, we had 282 applications that we received, and we had 44 enroll for the fall of 2017. The main reason is, we have a lot of international applicants, and coming down to financial reasons. So we hope to definitely increase that this year. And then we presently have 35 PhD students. So then the next slide, the next 2 slides are just basically the kind of real broad overview of research areas that we offer within biostatistics. I do want to make a very clear thing. Basically, anything that you can think of within the research field, we do it here in biostatistics. Biostatisticians are collaborators. Everybody's working with a team. And so, so they could be working on various different things at one time. So the area that's listed with a faculty member is a real big cover of what they do. So it's not necessarily that that's the only thing that they do. Each one of our faculty members are working in various different areas. As you can see, we offer, again, quite a few different areas of research. Due to time, I can't go through all of them, but you can see that, we offer all different areas that I'm sure, there's definitely a peak of interest within each one of you of the different area that you see. The ones at the bottom, they help within various different areas around campus as well as here. And so they represent different things like Tracy Leon works almost exclusively with CHOA, which is the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Christina Mehta, she works in HIV/AIDS. Lisa Alon works in infectious disease network science. Paul Weiss does a lot of work at the VA. Rebecca Zhang works with Transplant Center. So we offer a whole bunch. And then the other thing, Renee Moore is our director of our Biostatistics Consulting Center. And so she does a lot of work with the School of Medicine. And so we have our own consulting center here within our own department. So Howard is here to, could you explain some of your own research?
My own research?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was hoping to advertise our...
Yeah, you can talk about any of their research.
As a department.
Yeah, any of their research.
I think I'll start there. So I thought, Melissa said, we're quite a large biostat department among school public health, and we do cover various areas. So I thought I'll talk a little bit about how a master's student will get involved in research here in our department, and Alexis can kind of help you jump in on your own experience. So every student, when you get here, is assigned an academic advisor, and you're encouraged to meet with them regularly. And that's kind of where you can express interest about what kind of research you're interested in terms of areas, more collaborative, more methods-based, depending on your career interests. And there are various ways to get involved in research. For example, even though we have all these research areas, the department have kind of, I think, 4 or 5 what we call research working groups now. So these are faculty, students, staff, sometimes postdocs that meet pretty much weekly to discuss research, talk about problems, we'll read articles, we'll present work in progress. And these working groups are great opportunities for a newcomer to sit in, listen, express interest, kind of let people know who you are, and then to volunteer in various analysis to help out. I think we currently have one in neuroimaging. That's a really active one. We have one in survival and longitudinal analysis, which is kind of the cornerstone of biostatistics. We have one in bioinformatics. So this will include a lot of the genomics type of analysis. We have one in missing. We have mine. That's right.
It's yours.
Yeah. So I host a environmental and epidemiology working group. So what I'm working is I do a lot of air pollution, climate change. So I think a lot about how the environment is impacting our health. I feel like I'm missing one. Okay, I think that's Okay, that sounds about right. Again, so that's really because those research meetings happen regularly. So you should feel free to kind of pop your head in and say hi. And then through various opportunities that Melissa will discuss, either through a paid or volunteer opportunities, you can really get involved in research. So many of the faculty in the department, we have connections either with other people in different departments, in global health, environmental health, epidemiology, or in local public health institutions, so the CDC, American Cancer Society. So often we'll hear our collaborators saying, oh, I need a student who are interested in this, and then these are the skill sets we need. And if we know the students, we'll definitely kind of refer you over. And I often send Melissa an email and say, hey, Melissa, we need a student right now. Can you send this to all our students? And I think a lot of students actually do find their practicum or research assistant position, even jobs, after that.
Mhm.
And if you're thinking about your research, I think all of our students require a thesis research, correct, Melissa?
So all of the biostatistics, the MPH and the MSPH in
Mhm.
biostatistics, you are required to write a thesis.
Mhm.
In the informatics program, it's a capstone.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And with this requirement, many of our students I feel like they can really tailor their thesis. If they're interested in a collaborative research, they can frame that thesis that way. If you're interested in applying for graduate school, for example, and you really want a methods-driven thesis, you can also talk to faculty members, kind of help you along the way. So it's kind of flexible and based on what you want to do. If you start early, always start early. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the next slide is, I'm sure you've probably heard this, but Atlanta is the public health capital of the world. So literally, when we look out our window, we see the CDC. We are right next door to the CDC. The Rollins School of Public Health is actually the last school on the Emory campus. We have some other buildings past us, but we are the actual last school. And so the reason that it was done that way is because next door to us, literally across the street, is the CDC. And so quite a bit of our students get opportunities at the CDC. And so, and then of course, as you can see, we have the American Cancer Society, we have the Carter Center, we have Care International, we have the Task Force for Global Health, we have a lot of state and federal, different departments here within Atlanta. A lot of nonprofits, and all of that within the Atlanta area. And so it makes it very easy to find a position. And also if you are interested in your main focus is public health, and where else would you be than in the public health capital of the world? And so I'm going to let Alexia talk about her position that she has currently, that she's had for a while now, so she can talk about her position. That'd be great.
Yeah, so currently I'm working with the Carter Center, and kind of how Howard explained it is how it happened. I expressed interest to one of the professors about wanting to work in global health settings, and he connected me with someone at the Carter Center who was doing kind of a sampling network science kind of research. And so it was a great opportunity. I got it in spring semester of my first year, so I wanted to make it my practicum, which is where you work, I think it's 200 to 400 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of different things that I'm sure Melissa can answer more of, but I signed up doing it kind of as for free, not being paid, but it turned into a paid position. And I got the chance to go to Haiti over the summer, which was really, really great, and see how the data collection process worked, see how they did the sampling in action. And now I am taking the idea and I've created a thesis around it as well. So it went from kind of just like I'll do this for free to I get to travel to Haiti to now I'm hired on and they're paying me and a thesis. It's a really great opportunity, and it's in something that I find very interesting, but I didn't know I had a specific interest in, I guess, when I first came here. So,
And what area is that?
It's in kind of like sampling network science type of situation, a little bit of graph theory. It's just more of the realm that I ended up in. I thought I would stay in pretty simple, logistic regressions stuff, and it turned into something really cool and interesting that I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the next slide is about careers. Of course, we have our own career services department here within the Rollins School of Public Health. So they provide all different types of activities to help you in your career, such as mock interviews, resume building, that type of thing. But they also offer career fairs twice a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. And so they have a multitude of different employers, and you go around to each one of the booths and you talk with those people. And, many times that leads to a full-time position. So the Career Services Office is here to help you with any issues or anything that you have about careers. And then, we have on-campus job recruitments, again, at the career fairs. We actually have, usually once a year, we have Eli Lilly come down and they recruit our own students, just biostatistics and informatics students. It's exclusively only to our department because we have a very large alumni at Eli Lilly. And so it's our actual alums that come down here to recruit. And then, of course, one of the biggest things, which, of course, I included in your acceptance email for me, is our REAL program, which is the Rollins Earn and Learn program. And so when for the first semester in, you have to be a U.S. citizen, and you can, you apply for your FAFSA, and included in your FAFSA, when you receive it, you will see if you've been awarded the REAL award, which is an actual research position. It could be, you decide, you go through, the Career Services Office has a huge, gigantic job database, and what's called Handshake. And you go into Handshake and you look for the REAL positions. And you would interview just like you would for any other position. And but the REAL award is about $2,000 per semester, and you get paid hourly for that position. It's $12 an hour. And you would receive a paycheck every 2 weeks, every other week, that you would be paid for that. But it estimates to be about $2,000 per semester. For international students, you would have the opportunity to be awarded the REAL in your spring semester of your first year. In about October, the REAL manager would send out an email to all the international students saying you can apply for the REAL program and be able to get a REAL award in the spring. So for international students, that first semester in, you wouldn't be able to have a REAL award until the second semester. So it's been a great, great program that the Rollins School of Public Health has put on. It's been an advantage to us as well as employers. RSPH pays half, and then the employer pays half, so it's a great opportunity for both ends. And then, of course, we have the global field experience. A global field experience, anybody, as Alexa just said, she went to Haiti. So we have tons of students within the school that go on a global field experience, to all different areas within the world. High percentage go to Africa. But we also offer the Global Field Experience Award. And if you want to do a global field experience, there's an opportunity to get some of that funded. About 1/3 of your experience would be, if you are awarded, you would get about 1/3 of the total cost through the award. And it's done through basically a proposal has to be sent right before spring break. You send in a proposal, and there is a global field experience committee that goes over your proposal and makes the decisions if you will be awarded this money. So there's ways of getting it, hopefully paid as well. Does anybody else have any other comments about careers? Like Alexia, you're in your final semester here. And so,
yeah, well, so I did the Earn and Learn my first year with the CDC. So that was a really great experience too, because that gives you kind of a foot in the door to work there, because it's a nice kind of rate for you as a student to be working there. So they want to hire students. And yeah, the career services are great. I met with them. They helped me redo my resume. I did a mock interview with them. They hold job career fairs, which I haven't been to yet, but I plan on going. So I am in the motion to start applying to jobs. Haven't quite done it yet, but a good amount have. One of my good friends, she got an interview. So we'll see how that goes. So people are doing it now, but Career Services offers a lot of great resources that I am utilizing.
Great. Okay, so the next slide is basically our student life. The Biostatistics department, we put on various activities within just our department. As you can see, the very first picture is for our holiday party. We have a putt-putt golf that we play around the whole floor. It's actually on our, the floor here at the school, and you make your own golf hole. And you go around and you play. And then the next picture is we have the white elephant game that we do the same day for a holiday party. And that's always fun because we try to get the tackiest, ugliest gifts that people can open. So it's a lot of fun. And then we have, of course, a large graduation party at the end of the year. And we do also just different activities throughout the year. The SGA reps, that's our Student Government Association. We have reps within our department, and they put on, we do like a breakfast the first day of class. We have a whole, breakfast for all of our students, just wishing them well in their classes. Sometimes the SGA reps will do like a midterm stress reliever. I know that the SGA reps this year are planning a game night, and so hopefully sometime like in mid-March, they'll have a game night kind of as a stress reliever. And, they do different things. They also do like different types of things with each other departments. Like, let's say Biostatistics and Epi and BSHE will get together. And so they do things together. And then, of course, we have whole school activities, which consist of, we have what's called Combos on Tap. And I believe those are twice a semester. And so it's a situation where all of the students are invited to come to that. And it's outside, and they provide food, and they have, beer. And usually there's also, like reps from different organizations there that you can talk to get more involved. Of course, at the Rollins School of Public Health, we offer, I have no idea, but it's a ton of different student organizations. And basically anything that you would be interested in, I'm certain that either we have it at Rollins or we have it at Emory. So anything that you're interested in, I have no doubt that you would be able to get very involved in that area here with on campus. So we do offer a lot of ways to be of integration, community, and so, it's a great way to be here. We also are a smaller department, which creates a better, an easier community. We have our own student computer lab. So they offer open computers for the whole school. It's down on our lower level, but within biostatistics, we have our own student lab. So not only are you going to classes with your fellow cohorts for the whole 2 years, but it's also you're able to be in the lab where, again, you're able to create more of a community and get to know all of your classmates, because even the second years and the PhDs are using that computer lab. So you have an opportunity to basically meet the whole, student body within biostatistics. And we really promote, a community inclusion. So we just, we know that has created a better community for us because we have the computer lab. And so does anybody else have any things they'd like to add?
I think as a student, as a master's student, it really does feel like a nice community here. And I talked to some other departments that are bigger, and I know that they're a little more like dog-eat-dog kind of style department, whereas here it definitely feels everyone supports each other. There's a lot of collaboration with students, professors. I think that's great, and it probably does help to have this computer lab where we all come together to work on assignments or projects.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next slide is about housing. So it provides 3 different websites that you can look at for housing. Grad students do not have any on-campus housing. There's not any provided. So all of our students are living, quote unquote, what you consider off-campus. I mean, a perfect example of quote unquote off-campus is directly across the street from us. So you could be living closer than someone actually on campus. So I'm going to let Alexia talk about the process of how she found a place to live and how much is your rent and all that.
Yeah, I chose a place. My roommates, someone else that I know from previous time, also was coming to Rollins, and we were coming at the same time. We hadn't planned it, but we decided we'd be roommates because we know each other. And she was actually in Africa at the time, so I kind of had to figure out the living situation for us. And I asked a few friends, looked up places online, and what I decided was I wanted to live in Decatur because I wanted to get that kind of smaller town feeling within the bigger city. And I found I really wanted to be tight on budget, so I found a really nice gated community in Decatur that the rent is, I think it's like, for the two of us, it's $1,000. So we each pay $500 a month, which is a really great price point. And it's right off of a MARTA stop, which was really important to me because I have a car, but it's really old, so I wasn't sure when it was going to give up. So I wanted to have an alternative option to get to school. So that's what I was looking for, what was important. I know other people, what was important was they wanted to live closest to campus. That's an option. I think the price goes up a little bit that way because I'm probably about a 20-minute drive from campus, which isn't bad. When there's traffic, it's a little longer. But so for me, like driving wasn't as bad as like having access to kind of public transportation to go around the city and being a little more in kind of a neighborhood setting. But I know people who live downtown wanted to have that city effect. It's really looking for things that check mark location-wise and what you're interested in.
So you'll see that it just says the off-campus housing, so that gives you a full list of all different types of housing, and that could be an apartment to an actual house. We have several students that are renting houses, and so it's basically your preference as to what you want. You'll see the first one, the campus crossing, that is an Emory facility in a sense. It is off-campus housing that graduate students can use. And it's, so, we, a lot of times, like in your first year, some students will live there. And so, but then, there's all different types of housing in here. So as you can see from Alexa, it's very reasonably priced as well. So there's usually never an issue with students trying to find a place to live.
Yeah, and I don't think I mentioned it. I actually found this apartment by looking on Craigslist. But it was through an apartment complex. It was a gated community, but that is how I found it.
Okay.
And I'd like to add, through the off-campus housing, we always make the joke it's like dating, but for housing. Not really, you don't date on it, but we always let students know that it's a great way to find other students. Everyone is vetted, so they have a background check. They're from different parts of the university, from the med school to public health, so you could be rooming with anyone else, but they tell you their profile, so people will tell you if they have a pet, if they're a morning person, if they're dirty, or if they're really clean, and so they'll leave notes. So it's a really awesome thing. So for if it's something that you'll be coming from another country, or you won't have a chance to visit, it's a great resource for you to get to know people ahead of time to a certain extent, because they really fill out those profiles to a T, and some of them are kind of funny, but it's cool that people are telling you about their lifestyle and you can see if it's a match.
Great. Okay, so the final slide is just, I've sent everyone this slide to all of our admitted students, but this is just a pie chart to show you, where our alumni have gotten positions. And so when it says academic, that means a position within a university, as in ourselves, like within the biostatistics department. We have several alumni here that are working as biostatisticians within the department, or data analysis, those type of positions. So there are many universities everywhere that are looking for these types of positions. And then, of course, almost equally, we have just about the same number at the CDC right now. And then a big area that has come many more students are looking just basically into industry. We have, as I said, we have a lot of students that are interested in pharmaceutical, going to a pharmaceutical company. So we have various positions within pharmaceutical companies, and sometimes we have outliers. So within like marketing research, that type of positions, and then We also have, about 12% of our students are going on to pursue a PhD. And then also consulting is a big area that's rising within biostatistics. So we have a lot of people that are going on to consulting companies. And then, of course, as I said, state and health and federal government positions. So that is, y'all have any other things to add? Okay, so that's the end of our presentation, and we'd love to take any of your questions. So please type them in.
So what is the cohort size of the MSPH in biostats at Emory?
Okay, so for the MSPH, of course, we have more MSPH in biostatistics than we have NPH in biostatistics. So as of right now, that cohort is about, as I said from the slide before, it's about 50 that are in the MSPH program.
Oh, do we have a CPT?
Yes. So CPT means curricular practical training, and so we have CPT and OPT. So your CPT is if you are working on the Emory campus, your H-1 visa includes that. Okay. So you don't have to apply for CPT if you have any employment on the Emory campus. That could be at the School of Medicine, that could be at the School of Nursing, wherever. If you go off the Emory campus, like let's say for your practicum during the summer, so if you went and worked at the CDC and but it was not related to a real award, okay, and you went to work at the CDC or the American Cancer Society or wherever, then you would have to apply for CPT for the summer because your employment would be outside of Emory. And then of course OPT, because biostatistics is in the STEM program, you have a great advantage. Your F1 visa will carry you for 3 years past graduation. So that gives you 3 times to apply. If you got a position, you have 3 times to apply for the H-1B visa. And then, that's a great thing. The STEM program has helped us in getting people permanent positions here because you have 3 times to apply for the H-1B visa.
All right. So we have a question about PhD. Is it hard for an MS or MPH student in Rollins to apply for the PhD degree in Emory? And do you have any previous data about this?
So it is not. We do definitely want to emphasize that we don't show any partiality. If you're in the MS, most students who are in the MS-PH program, we see a higher number of those students going on to apply for PhD programs than we do in the MPH, but we don't. It's not exclusive to that. We treat each one of our students, each applicant to the PhD program is reviewed exactly the same. There's no partiality. For the past couple of years, we've usually admitted, again, our PhD program is quite different than our master's degree program. We have an extremely limited number of PhD students that we can admit each year. And so it's an extremely competitive program. And so we only admit about 6 or 7 students each year in our PhD program due to the fact that it's a fully funded program. That includes your tuition, your health insurance, and your stipend. For the past couple of years, we've had about 1 MS-PH student that's been enrolled into our PhD program.
Okay, thank you. We have a question regarding whether students will have the chance to choose courses in GTech.
Yes, we have what's called the ARCH program, and that would include any of the, so that's Georgia Tech, that's Georgia State, that's the UGA, University of Georgia, Agus Scott, Morehouse School of Medicine, Spelman, and so all of those schools, you can take classes at those. We have several students that have taken classes at Georgia Tech, and so that it would be, just like taking any other class, you have the opportunity to take those classes at those schools. The only difference is you will only receive an SU in any of the ARCH program classes. So if you took a class at Georgia Tech, you would not be a graded student. It would only be an SU.
All right. So hi, and yes, this webinar is being recorded. It will be posted by Friday, and you can find it on our Rollins YouTube webpage, and that's youtube.com/user/RSPH admissions/video. So again, that's youtube.com/user/RSPH admissions/videos. And if that was too much, you can definitely also find it on our campus visit page, and there's a direct link to the page as well.
Yes, and I will also be sending each one of you that on the attendees list. I'll be sending all the admitted students the link to the YouTube site.
All right. For MPH students, did you say that we would take electives unrelated to biostats?
You certainly can. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. If you want to take like a class in epidemiology or you want to take a class in sociology, you certainly can. But you can also use your elective hours in biostatistics and taking our electives. I will have to say most of our students take their electives within biostatistics. They're not taking many classes outside of bios. But you do have the opportunity to do that.
Okay. Wayne would like to know, is it possible to pursue dual degrees?
Unfortunately, the Biostatistics and Informatics program, we don't offer any dual degree programs. Due to the fact that all of our classes are in sequence, there's not a possible way of doing a dual degree program with that.
Okay. One student has a question as to whether or not international students can find jobs in the CDC.
Yes, we have quite a few international students at the CDC. I know there's a big misconception about working for federal government and that you have to be a U.S. citizen. That is not true. We have many students that are working at the CDC, and the CDC also pays for the F-1B visa. So that's just a misconception.
Okay. We have a great question regarding whether or not the MPH can transfer to an MSPH for the first semester.
Anybody if you've applied for the MPH and you want to go into the MSPH, it has to be done by the end of drop add in your very first semester, because again, all of our classes are in sequence and the MPH has a different program than the MSPH. So the only time you can do that is prior to the fall semester, or at least by the end of drop add in that first fall semester.
Okay. How many international students will be awarded scholarships?
Unfortunately, at this time, I cannot answer that question. They haven't been awarded at this time. Each department sends a certain number of applicants that we want to be considered for scholarships. And so at this time, that information is not known.
Is it possible for students to work with professors outside of the department?
Certainly. We have many that are working outside. I mean, Alexia is just a perfect example of that. She's working at the Carter Center. So we have lots of students that are not working in biostatistics. They're working in other departments, other schools, all of that.
Okay. And Catherine would like to know if campus crossing is the only off-campus housing close to Emory's campus.
No, as I said, hey, Catherine. As I said, a perfect example of off-campus is directly across the street. We have hardwood condos that are literally across the street from us, and so that's considered off-campus. So you can live very, very, very close.
Okay, and we're running up on 2 minutes left, so we're going to take this last question. What is the size of the class on average?
So we have been increasing in our numbers. So right about now we have about 45 students that are in one. The first year cohort is about 44 students. So we're anticipating probably around the same number for the fall of 2018.
All right. Well, we thank you all for attending. If you have any additional questions, is there a general email, or would you prefer the email admission?
Oh, no. So each one of them are admitted students. So you already have my email address. I've all sent you the, acceptance email. So any questions that you have, please email me and let me know.
Yes. Well, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to say thank you so much for attending today. I hope that this has helped in making your decision easier to come to Rollins, and we all look forward to seeing you in the fall.
Yes, and also visit Emory if you're able to make it as an admitted student. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.